Anonymous class in Java is a class without a name. It's like a local class or an inner class that does not have a name. That's why it is anonymous. It is defined and instantiated in a single expression. So, what could be the possible scenarios where these classes are useful? Anonymous classes are useful when you need to just create a class that implements an interface or extend a class, but you only need to use it once. It's a single use purpose. So, for that single use, we do not want to create a separate class definition for it. Anonymous classes are typically defined as a subclass of an existing class or an implementation of an existing interface. They are defined using the new keyword followed by the name of the class or the interface being implemented or extended, followed by a pair of parentheses. Inside the parentheses, we can define any necessary constructor argument, if any, and then we can provide the class definition in a pair of curly braces. So, how do we actually do it? Let's see with the demo. Let's say here I have some interface called some interface, and there are certain function inside this. Void function 1, void function 2. And I want to use these two functions, but I do not want to implement this interface because I know that it is only for a single time use. So for that, I can use an anonymous class. And for that, I'll create an object of the interface. And then I define the expression of my anonymous class. The moment I'll do that, the compiler will ask me to implement the unimplemented methods. And here inside the overridden methods, I can put whatever I want. So only by defining this expression, it will not get executed. It will get executed when I call the functions that I just overridden. Let's see. That's it. So this is a scenario where I implemented the interface without using the implement keyword or without defining a separate object for it with the help of an anonymous class. This is how the anonymous class is being created. But let's say if I have some class here, let's name it some class as well, which contains a function called public void some func. And here I have printed certain line. So again, the scenario is that I want to use this function, I want to override this function, but I do not want to create a separate object for it. So I'll again take the help of the anonymous class. I'll create the object of the sum class, just like we create a normal object, but instead of terminating it here, I'll define an expression. And the moment I'll do this, the compiler will get to know that I am overriding the sum class. So since it's a class, it is not showing me a warning to override its method because it's my choice. But let's say I want to do that. So I overwrite it. And this time I'll put a different line. Inside the anonymous class. And then I'll call this some funk. So what the compiler is actually doing here, it is calling the anonymous class method because it know that I have just extended the sum class without defining it. But can the original class or function will ever get called? Of course it will get called if I use it just like a normal class. So here the anonymous class is calling the interface methods. Here we have just called a normal method from the sum class, and here we are calling that same function from inside an anonymous class. That's the whole idea of an anonymous class. Use it for a single purpose, for a single time use, and then just forget about it. No need to create a separate object for it.